ADO.NET has some few drawbacks I listed you in the last lesson. And to overcome those particular problems, we are being provided with link, entity framework, like different options are there. So we can just take the help of all those things for working with the databases. So in this process, what did I say? It's a pure object-oriented programming where we don't have tables, we don't have columns, and we don't have rows. What we have? Classes, properties, instances. So the point to understand here is, from now, every table is a class. Are you clear? Every column is a property and every record is a instance. So you're going to deal with classes, properties and instances, but not tables, columns and rows. So if you want to treat a table as a class, first that class should be defined over there. First, the class should be defined. You need to define a class first. But yesterday I said to you, there is a concept called as ORM. Stands for Object Relational Mapping. And this ORM is a process, which is going to convert all the relational objects into object-oriented types. All the relational objects into object-oriented types. Means I don't require to write any coding. So basically all the relational objects will be automatically converted into object-oriented types to you. So that's what exactly we call as ORM. How this ORM is performed and all these particular things, let's try to understand. And to do this ORM, what did I say? There are two tools available here. What are the two tools? One is OR Designer and the second one is EDM. One is the OR Designer and the second one is going to be EDM, Entity Data Model. So these are the two tools that are provided for us and we can just use both of them to perform our task. What's it? EDM tool also can be used, OR Designer. OR Designer is the tool what is used in what we just use in LinkU, and EDM is a tool what we use in Entity Framework. Okay, so basically let's just try to understand how this link works. Actually, talking about this link, what is the full form, guys? Language integrated query. Language integrated query. This is introduced in .NET Framework 3.5. As a replacement for SQL. As a replacement for SQL, which we use for querying relational databases. Why do we use SQL? SQL is a query language which is used for querying relational databases. Okay. So now by using link also, we can write query expressions similar to SQL queries. So now by using link also we can write query expressions similar to SQL queries. Okay, but the difference is SQL can be used only on relational databases, whereas link can be used on a wide variety of data sources. Link can be used on a wide variety of data sources like objects, in the sense arrays and collections. We can use it on XML. We can use it on relational databases also. So understand here, SQL can be used only on relational databases. So similar to that, Microsoft has given us what? Link. And when we talk about this particular link, link can be used on a wide variety of data sources like objects, nothing but arrays and collections, XML, as well as relational databases also. Okay. And actually, link is divided into three parts. What is the first one? Link to objects. Link to objects. We can use this for writing queries on arrays and collections. Okay. Most of you already learned about link to objects in your C# classes. People who are attending 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. C#, actually you started with collections here. The collections only, I'll teach you link also. Okay, no worries, you'll be learning about this link to objects there. All the people who finished your C# already know link to objects, how to write queries on arrays and collections by using link. Second option what we have is link to XML, also called as X-link. What is it? X-link. We use it for writing queries on, you can write query on an XML file. You can write query on a XML file. On XML, you can write your queries. The third one is link to databases. Link to databases. What is this? You can use it for writing queries on relational databases. Now you see, what did I say? You can use link on objects, there is arrays and collections, XML, and so these are the three parts now. The first part, we use it on. Second part, we use it on XML source. Third part, link to databases, we use it on relational databases. Now, this link to database is further divided into three parts again. The link to databases is further divided into three parts again. One, link to data sets. Link to data sets. We use this for writing queries on data tables of data set here. You know data tables now? Data set is a collection of data tables. So you can write this on this. It's outdated, guys. This is outdated, not in usage. We don't use it at all. It's a failure. Frankly speaking, it's a failure, outdated failure. We don't use it anywhere. Second option is link to SQL. This is designed purely to work with SQL Server database only. Okay, now? Third one. What is third one? Link to entities, also called as ADO.NET Entity Framework. We can use this with any relational database. So link to objects for writing queries on arrays and collections. Link to XML to work with XML. Link to databases to work with relational database. Under that three options again, link to data sets to write queries on ADO.NET data tables. It's outdated. No need to learn that at all. Link to SQL, link to entities are always called ADO.NET NT framework. Guys, we are going to learn both these two things here. Okay, now we are going to learn both these two things here. Link to SQL, link to entities are ADO.NET NT framework. And remember all of you, link to SQL. With web applications, I'm showing you in the classroom now. And if at all you want to use this on desktop applications, I have already posted up all the videos for working with link to SQL with the desktop applications in the YouTube channel. Is that clear? Link to SQL working with web applications I'm showing in the classroom. Sir, can I use it on desktop application? Yes, you can use. For all those things, I just posted up the complete videos to you in the YouTube channel. Is that clearer? Okay. And I remember 11 o'clock batch students, 9 o'clock batch students, I already said you, watch the videos. You have already videos on link to SQL to work with desktop applications. But I'm going to show you with web. Process same. UIs are different. Here we use web UI. There we use desktop UI. Desktop UI is user-friendly drag and drop. Web UI is a little bit coding. Okay. So, but the remaining all the process will be same. Okay. Learn this first. Then you can also try with desktop applications if you want. Is that clear? Okay. So you're going to start with link to SQL. Listen. This is specially designed for working with SQL Server database. Only SQL Server. You can't use it on anything. Like my Microsoft Pro own product. That is why the special preference was given to SQL Server. So this is specially designed to work with SQL Server database. Okay. So this is the first important thing. So this is specially designed to work with SQL Server database. Second important thing. This is just not only about querying the data, but also allows us to perform insert, update and delete operations also, which we call as CRUD operations. So actually, query means what you are selected. The name of the concept is linker, language integrated query. Even though we just call this query, not only about querying the data here, but allows us to perform insert, update, delete. Why I'm pinpointing is all the people who learned link to objects in your C# classes. Remember, there we used the link only for querying. There we used link only for querying. But when we come here, it's not only about querying here. It will allow you to perform insert operations, update operations, and delete operations also. I said you it is a replacement for ADO.NET. When it is going to be a replacement for ADO.NET, whatever you do with ADO.NET should also be available with link now. So using ADO.NET, we perform select, insert, update, deletes. So that possibility should be present for you with link also. So link also supports you all the various kinds of applications like selecting, inserting, updating, and deleting, what we call them as CRUD operation. What we call CRUD operations. Where CRUD stands for, yes, create. Create means second. Read. Read means update is update only. Delete is delete. Okay. So these are the four things what we have. Create, read, update, delete are the four different kind of activities what we do. CRUD operations. Okay. Fine. What next? To work with link, first we need to perform ORM. Already in the last class, I explained to you about this. All the into object-oriented types means got it? Are you following me? To work with link, first we need to perform VARM, which is a process of converting all relational objects into object-oriented types. The what? Tables into classes, columns into properties, stored process into methods like this. We do all the conversions there. We do all the conversions here. Okay? To perform VARM, link to SQL provides us a tool known as Word Designer, using which we can easily perform VARM. We can easily perform the work. To perform VARM, link to SQL provides us a tool known as Word Designer, using which we can easily perform the work. Okay? Okay, lots of things I said you. Let us see live. Let's see practical. Let us see the things practically. Okay? The first thing what we are going to do now is, listen all of you. First, open SQL Server Management Studio. So bring your weight. So watch it, all of you. The first thing what I'm doing is, just a second. The first thing I'm doing is, I wanted to create one database. I want to create a database. How do you create a database? Give a name to the database. mvc30. So that is the name of the database I'm using. mvc30. Okay. Database is created. Okay. Now create a table under the database. Let's create a table under the database. New query. Student table. Student ID. Integer. Primary key. Name. Varchar. Class. Integer. Fees. Money. Photo. Varchar of 100. Status. Bit. Not null. Default 1. Are you clear? So many columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column. Photo. What is the data? Varchar. And status. Status is a Boolean value with a default value 1. 1 means active. You can just make it as false, inactive. And it should not allow any null value. So it's a not null constant. And here we are using a primary key. And here we are using a not null. Okay. So let's create the table. Done. So this is the first step. What is the first step? Create one database. Create one table. One database and one table. Done. What next? Now let us design an application using MVC to perform code operations on the table, inserting, updating, deleting, and all. In C# classes, you developed a desktop application to perform all these activities. Am I right? But here we are going to use a web application to perform these activities. Okay? So let's see how are we going to build a web application now to perform the CRUD operations, like selecting, inserting, updating, and deleting. Watch. Let's create a project. ASP.NET web application. MVC with link 1. Location. Our own folder. Create. Let's go with an MVC template, guys. Let's go with MVC template. I said you going forward will always use only MVC templates. Now, to work with the table, first I need to convert the table into class. To work with the table, first I should convert the table into class. How to do that? You're required to take the help of OR designer now. Are you getting me? And basically to work with link here, you require the help of some assemblies. To work with link, you require the help of some assemblies, some like system.data.link, for which you're required to go for adding the references. Next, to connect with the database, you require the connection strings to be written in the config files. You learned all these things in C#, remember? Config file. In C# we have app.config, right? In our web application, what we have? Web.config. In the web.config, you're required to write the connection string. You're required to add some references, something required. Okay. So just to see, but everything is automated. Remember that everything is automated. We don't write anything at all. Everything is automated. But understand, to work with link, first you need to add a reference to system.data.link. All of you observe it. Is it available in the Visual Studio under the references? Can you find system.data.link anywhere? Check it out. Alphabetical arrangement only now. Here only it should be there. Not there. Okay. And to connect to a database, all of you know that you need a connection string. And where you write the connection string? Config file. And the config file in web applications is called as web.config. Open the web.config file. Open the web.config file. We have app settings, system.web, runtime, system.code.dom. You don't have a connection string section there, see? Clear? We don't have connection string section. We don't have. Before going to perform a ORM, I'm showing all these things. So put them in the mind. Okay? So nothing is here. No reference available. And no connection string in the config file. Nothing is available. Correct? Okay. Now let me show you how to work with the OR designer. You need to add the OR designer in the project first. How to add the OR designer? Add new item window. Where you add models. Models folder, guys. Where you add? Models folder. So right click on the models folder. Add new item. In the left hand side, select data. In the right hand side, link to SQL classes. Are you clear? I'm going to add it, but before adding, I'll show you. Some of you people, when you open your studio, may not find link to SQL classes. May not find link to SQL classes. If you don't find the link to SQL classes, what will you do, you know? Go to Tools menu, get the Tools and Features. Tools menu, first item only, get the Tools and Features. Will open you the VS Updater. The Visual Studio Update will open for you. You install Visual Studio, remember na? In that we selected workloads, individual components. Go to individual components. Scroll down. First section is a .NET. Scroll down. Cloud database and server. Scroll down. Code tools. Select the checkbox and click on download and install. Click on download and install. Otherwise, you'll have an update button here. Because it's already available. I'm not selecting. If I select that will come for you automatically. Do that. If you don't find it, so first verify. You have it. You have it. Well and good. You don't have it. Do this. Okay now. So guys, add a new item. Data. Link to SQL classes. This is going to add you an item with an extension .dbml. It is going to add you an item with an extension stands for database markup language. The full form is database markup language. Okay. So that's going to add you DBML, database markup language. So what will you do now is give a name for it. Extension is DBML, give a name for it. What name? Any name here, no problem. But the recommendation always is give the name of your database. The name of your, what is the name of your database? MVC? Come on, use that name only. MVCDB. Click on the add button. When you click on the add button, it will add you an item in the studio that looks like a split container. Split container, remember? With the two panels. See, this looks like a split container only, see? With the two panels, you'll be getting left-hand side and the right-hand side. What to do, I'll tell you. This is what added in the document window. See that? Okay now? And this is what added. Now guys, all of you observe this. What's it? Once you added this, open the Solution Explorer. That's what I said. You nothing you need to do. Everything will be done by the studio. Added the referencing. In C# classes, to work with Oracle client, you manually added the reference. To work with system.configuration, you manually added the reference. To work with Microsoft.Visual Basic, you manually added the reference. Remember? But see, everything is automated now. It already got you system.data.link to you. Okay, done. What to do sir now? What to do now is very simple here. You want to work with some set of tables and stored procedures, right? You learned in ADO.NET classes already. You work with some tables and some. What you do is configure your database in the Server Explorer. You know, remember the process now? Configure your database in the Server Explorer. Whatever tables you want to work with, drag and drop on the left-hand side panel. Whatever stored procedures you want to work with, drag and drop on the right-hand side panel. That's all. Did you understand me? What to do now? Configure the database under Server Explorer. Under the Server Explorer, configure your database. How to do? Open the Server Explorer. Come on, let's configure. Already some databases are configured. Our database is not there. What is our database? mvc30. It's not configured. Help me. How to do? I said you speak louder. Right click on. Data sources. SQL Server. Server name. Write your server name. What's your server name? Write the server name here. What is my server name, guys? Server. Server name is always your computer name. The server name is always your computer name. Or otherwise, how do you know your server name? Open the Management Studio. When you open the Management Studio, the connection window should show you the server name now. Right? So copy this server name and use it there as it is. Yeah, server name. What's the server name? Authentication. My user ID. My password. Save my password. And now immediately what will happen? Your database should come in the list here. Then only the confirmation like you entered all values correctly. If anything wrong, you won't get the data. Load it. Select your database. For confirmation, click on succeeded. Click on OK. Right now, we don't have any procedures. Right now, we don't have any procedures, but going forward, we'll have. Correct? Yeah, going forward, we'll be having the procedures. But right now, we have only tables. See, process is empty. Tables, one table is there. You want to work with this table now? Drag it on the left-hand side panel. If you want to work with any procedures, define the procedures. Right-hand side panel. Any confusions? Confidently. Okay? So what should I do now? Drag it. Drop it on the left-hand side panel. You will see a visual representation of the table. You can see student. And under that you have ID, name, class, fees. What is that icon representing, guys? Property. All these properties are defined to you. And that key is to tell that is a primary key. SID has a key icon also beside that to tell that is a primary key. It is a key column. It is a key column. And these are all properties. A visual representation of the table. Okay, all of you. So all these things got happened. All these things got happened. Okay. One more time, I'm showing you all the process. Watch it. Let me delete the DVML file. I deleted all the DVML. Okay. What to do? Right click on models, add new item, link to SQL classes, give a name to it. What is the name? mvc30. Click on add button. Okay, now what next? Drag and drop the table on the OR designer. Drag and drop this table on the OR designer. I'll drag and drop, guys. Meanwhile, once I wanted to show you. This is the DVML file you added. This is the DVML item what you added. If you expand it, under that you'll find mvcdb.designer.cs. Remember designer.cs files? In Windows programming, I already explained you. What do designer.cs file contain? Code written by Studio. Designer.cs file will not contain any manual code in it. What it contains is auto-generated code. Whatever code you find in designer.cs file is completely generated by the Studio. It's a Studio generated code. That's what exactly you find in the designer.cs file. So that is the code what you just going to be generated by the Studio. Okay? I'll show you the things. Watch. If you expand it, generally when you expand a file, it'll show you the classes under that. No? Yes or not? Expand it. Right now we have one class. What is the name? MVC DB data context. All of you concentrate. MVC DB data context. And actually, data context is a class that is designed same as connection. That is designed same as connection. So, when we create the instance of data context, it will establish. In ADO.NET to establish a connection, what did you do? Created the instance of connection here. Why are you thinking that much time? Be active first. So tomorrow you are going to introduce an answer. So what will do? In ADO.NET, if you want to create a connection, which class instance you created? Now it is data context. Now it is, you're required to use the data context class is designed same as connection. So when we create the instance of data context, it will establish a connection to the database. Okay. Now, actually guys, this is the class. In link, when we add the OR designer, listen, when we add the OR designer in the project, we will get a new class. We will get a new class, a new data context class. In link, when we add OR designer in the project, we get a new data context class that is mvcdb data context, where mvcdb is our read that carefully. Clear? MVCDB, what is MVCDB? Our DBML file, nothing but our database name. And this class inherits from Which class? Data context class. So we need to work with the new class, that is mvc db data context, to connect with. Now read again. Read again complete statement. Tomorrow, you're working with another database called as TestDB. You'll have a TestDB data context class now. I have a database called as master data context, master DB context will be the new class what is defined for you. And all these classes will inherit from the data context. Will be inheriting from the data context. And now see how clarity it is. MVC DB data context connects to MVC DB database. Master data context connects to master database. Test data context connects to test database. Like this, you have a clarity now. Are you getting my point here? So that is what. So coming back here. When did I say DB context here? Data context now, what did I say? I said data context. I did not say DB context at all. Class is data context. Database name is MVCDB. So it is MVCDB data context. Understood, Ashish? Yeah. This is your class. Okay, now. Right now, this class, if you expand and see, actually, there's nothing in this class here. One field, see this is an icon of a field. Clear? One private method. These were private. Private fields means specific to the class. Private fields, let's not bother. How do you know private field? The lock sign. The lock symbol tells you there is a private field. Apart from that, the class has 4 constructors. Watch here, 4 constructors, and all the 4 are parameterized. There is no default constructor. All the 4 are. You want to see the, have a look on the class? Open the file. Rate this by a tool. The runtime version is on. Changes to the file may cause incorrect behavior and will be lost if the code is regenerated. Means what is it telling, you know? It's giving you a soft warning. What is it? Don't make changes to the code. All of them. Where you have DB context? When did I say DB context? Why you went to DB context? When I did not use the word DB context anywhere, why did you go to DB context at all? Tell me, Ashish, first. I'll explain about DB context then. You see, it is giving a soft warning to you. What is that? Array, don't make changes. Already in the Windows I said, you remember? Designer.cs files are purely for studio to write the code. We should not work with them at all. Are you clear? Fine. Now, coming below, you see there the 4 constructors. First one. That's all, yeah. There's no code at all. MVCDB context, inheriting from namespace. Reference already added now? Yes or not? This class works with connection, you know that? Actually, What I want to tell you now, link is built on the top of ADO.net. ADO.net is the heart. On the top of it, they have built you what? Link. To reduce the developer's work. To reduce the developer work so that these tools will generate all the required coding for you. So yesterday, when I was telling someone online asked, so which one performs well? Which one performs well? ADO.net or Link? Link or ADO.net? ADO.net only for sure. Reason. Link is not independent of itself. Link depends on ADO.net behind the skin. These are all programmer friendly. Did you get my point or not? These are all programmer friendly. But going forward, the base is always link ADO.net. Everything is ADO on the top of it only it is built. I'll show you, watch it. Go to right click on the data context and say, go to definition. Go to definition. So this is the data context class. And in this data context class, if you observe, working with DB connection here, check it out. And do you remember this DB connection is a parent class of all the connection classes? 4 connection classes we have. I already explained you. SQL connection, ODBC connection, OLDB connection, Oracle connection. All these classes inherits from DB connection. DB connection is an abstract class. Under that you have all the methods, open, close, connection, all implemented under the child classes. So this year also watch, it was using the same DB connection class. So this is a proof to understand what is it. Link is internally depending on ADO.net. So that's why I stress a lot on ADO, and nearly 2 weeks I teach you ADO.net in your in your C# classes. Reason is, everyone think like, why link is there now, NT framework, why SAR is focusing much on ADO.net? That is the foundation here. Without that, you can't do anything at all. The fundamental is ADO.net only. On the top of it, all these things have been coming into picture. Link you, NT frameworks, and all the things. So finally, end of the day, what is going to be used for working with the databases behind the skin is ADO.net only. Link won't talk with database directly. Link uses ADO.net. Now tell me which one will give performance now? Link ADO.net. ADO.net only. But still, programmer friendliness, rapid application development. If you talk about all these particular things, links, NT framework will give you much benefits for the developer point of view, but not performance point of view. Performance point of view, always ADO.net only, not the links or NT framework. Okay now? So right now, all of you observe, there are 4 constructors in the class, nothing more than that. Clear? Okay. Yeah. Come back again. Yeah, remember, configure your database. Already configured. Drag and drop the table here. Already configure of here. So simply drag and drop the table. What table? Student table. We'll see a visual representation of the table. Okay now. Now listen. What happens when we drag and drop a table on the OR designer? I'll explain you. Before that, listen to this, all of you. What happens when we drag and drop the first object, maybe a table or read the question. Today you will drag and drop a table. Tomorrow you can drag and drop a store procedure, whatever it is. When you drag and drop the first object on the OR designer, what happens? Okay. when we drag and drop the first object on our designer, the below two actions gets performed internally. Writes. I already shown you web.config. Remember, you need a connection string. See there is no connection string. I said, you go and see now you have the connection string. Where? Web.config. Earlier you saw four sections or something. What you saw? See now, the first section is connection strings now. You have the new section. What is that? Name. Connection string. Say provider. Data source server. Initial catalog. Initial catalog means database. Database or initial catalog. It writes some additional things also not required, but persistent security info. Something it writes, ignore it. But you know all these things. User ID, password, database name. You already written all these things manually in your ADO.NET classes. Now they are auto-generated. That one I said you. Concentrate, guys. You don't write anything. Everything is auto-generated. Is it clear? Okay. So is the first action clear? Defines a new. Read it, guys. Defines a new constructor. What? Remember, already shown you there are four constructors in the code and very clearly shown you the four are parameterized and said you are watch here, there is no default constructor. Now you got it. Defines a new constructor default into mvc30 data context class. Into mvc30 data context class, and now we can use this constructor. We can use this constructor in our applications to create instance of class. And when we create the instance, it will implicitly read connection string from web.config and connects to the database. So what I'm trying to tell you now, you are not even responsible to read the connection string here. Recollect your coding in your Windows programming to read a connection from the connection string. Every day we used to write string constr is equals to configuration manager dot connection strings of our key name dot connection string. Do you remember that? You don't require it now. Why? That is taken care by. Who will take care? All the things are implicitly taken care by the mvc30 data context default constructor. I don't require to read the connection string or do any of this particular thing. All that is implicit. That's all. Shall I show you? Watch. Already connection string I shown you. Second thing what I should show you. Watch. Now you have 5 constructors. Earlier I shown 4. Now you have default constructor came now. Use this constructor in your code for creating the instance from now onwards. So whenever you want to create the instance of, whenever you want to connect with your database, What to do? Create the instance of that class. Create the instance of that class. That will be responsible for connecting. Going forward, when we are writing the code, I'll show you that. Okay, now? What next, sir? And these two actions happens how many times? How many times? Array, one time only, yaar. What did you read the question? First object, clearly mentioned it there, na? What happens when we drag and drop the first object? For every table, it will write one default constructor. Are you telling every time it will happen? No? How many default constructors will come? For every table, it will write one connection string. You're required to write a connection string only one time. So these two actions are performed only one time. Then, when you drag and drop the first object, the first object can be a table or the first object can be a stored procedure. No matter whatever is the first object, it can be a table or it can be a stored procedure. Whatever it is, this is going to happen for the first object, that is one and only one time. Are you clearer or not? Okay, na? Next. What happens when we drag and drop a table on the what design? I understand this question carefully. When we drag and drop a table on the what design means what I'm telling you now repeats for every table. This repeats for every table. For every table, this operation will be repeating for you. For every table, these actions will be done. Okay? One. When we drag and drop a table on what designer, internally the following actions takes place. When we drag and drop a table, for every table, okay, on what designer internally, the following actions takes place. Watch, first one. Defines a class. Defines a class representing the entity. Entity means table is your entity. Are you clear? Defines a class representing the entity and the name of the class will be same as entity name. So, yeah, read it. Defines a class in which file? Designer.cs. Studio writing. Studio writing means designer.cs file. Representing the entity. Entity means table. And the name of the class will be same as entity name. So, in designer.cs file, we find a new class with the name student. Any doubts? What is that? Table is a class? No. Converted, see, created. Table is a class. So the class is going to be created now. Understood the point? Okay. So basically the class will be generated for you automatically. And don't forget the name of the class will be same as your entity name. So in designer.cs file, we find a new class with the name student. Shall I show you? This is designer.cs now. Sir, if I drag and drop another table, another class. This happens for every table. That's what I'm telling you. You drag and drop teacher table, teacher class. Staff table, staff class. Exam table, exam class. Book table, book class. Got the point? Okay, like this for every table. One class gets defined for you because tables are now classes. Is it clear? Tables converting into classes now? Second. Now, under the new class, it defines properties representing the attributes of entity. Representing the attributes of entity. That is, for each attribute, we find one property. Are you clear? Attributes are nothing but columns of table here. Attributes are nothing but columns of table. Now under the new class, it defines properties representing what? Attributes. Representing attributes. Attributes are nothing but columns of table. Okay, representing attributes of entity. Yeah, that is for each attribute we find one property defined. SID is a primary key column now. So we'll accept a null value or will not accept. Let's say C normal integer, and don't forget C# integer will not accept a null value. Value type. Name is string. Accepts null value. String also accepts null value. Class integer. In the database while creating a table on the class, did you impose a not null constraint? Check. Did you impose a not null constraint on the class? Speak out here. No, you did not define it. So this accepts null values, correct? Yes or not? Because it accepts null values, verify here, it has taken a nullable integer. See the perfect mapping. This only I said you should be very careful if you write the code. Guarantee 99% will make mistakes. So what designer does all the work for you now? Next one, fees column. For fees column also I did not impose a not null constraint, correct? Next to photo column, there also not null is not there. String only, null is accepted. Again status, bit, value type. But we imposed a not null constraint, do you remember? That's why what is it taking you? Boolean. Not taking you Boolean question mark. If I don't impose a not null constraint on the table, here what will get? Full question mark. You're not getting a full question mark means not null constraint is available on the table. Is the point clearer all of you? Okay, so that's what simple here. If the table accepts a null value, application also should accept. If the table doesn't accept a null value, application also should not accept. Are you clearer or not? Okay, so create table student. SID in primary key. Name varchar, you just see. Follow the columns carefully. That's why I manually typed all the things and shown you. What is present here will come there. Not present will not come there. Got the point, all of you? So all the properties are defined now. And these are the properties that represents your columns now. Tomorrow, if you assign a value into SID, that's inserted into SID column. If you assign a value to name, that is inserted into name column. Assign a value to class, inserted into class column, fees column, photo column, status column. Like this, we are just going to assign the values and the values will be inserted into their appropriate columns now. Point clear? Okay. So this is how exactly that works to you. So second step also clear? Any doubts? Tell me. Understood this one? Huh? So first it defines a class. Under the new class, it defines properties representing attributes, columns of table of entity. For each attribute, we find one property defined. Okay. Now, to work with the table, we are provided with a collection property under data under mvc30 data context class. Okay, and we use this table or we use this property to perform all the CRUD operations on database table. See, now to work with the table, you want to work with the table now? What do you want to do? Selecting, inserting, updating, deleting, all these operations, you want to work with the table now. We are provided with a property actually. We are provided with a property. Okay? Property. And this is a collection property basically. It is a collection property. Under which class? And we use this property to perform all the CRUD operations on database table. Means we don't directly insert into a table. We don't directly update on a table or database table. We don't insert in the database table. We don't update on the database table. We do all these things on this collection actually. We do all these things on the collection. And whatever you do in this collection will be affected for you on the database. So I'll show you, watch it. Which class is it? Here you have a property, see? What is the name? Student. Student is your entity. Collection of entity called students. Right, understand your students. The students represents what? The table of all. See now? Table of student. It is a table of student. What is this? Collection. It's going to be a collection. What type? Student type. So already, who are not aware of collections, I already said you. See, list of int. Base a collection of integers. Right? List of string. Collection of strings. Collection of customers. Are you getting me? Same way, just like a list. We have a class. How do you read? A table of student. A table of students. A table of students. What is the name? Students. See here? You say list of int. What is the name? Ints. List of strings. Customers. Same way here. Table of, what is the name? Now guys, remember, this is your table from now onwards for selecting, inserting, updating and deleting. Everything you are going to work on this table, not on the database table. Database table is none of my business. I don't work with the database table at all. I want to select write a query on the table. You want to insert add to table. You want to update modify in the table. You want to delete remove from the table. Are you people clearer or not? And everything I perform on this table reflects to database table. Any confusions? Tell me. So you are not going to work with the database at all. You're purely working with objects. You're purely working with the objects. So this is your table. Now see, you drag and drop another table called teacher. You'll find another property called as teachers. You drag and drop a table called books. You drag and drop a table called staff, not staffs. The plural of staff is also staff only. Array, that is English is very, it's not going to simply put off yes or something. Okay? It's very intelligently designed. You drag and drop a class called person. What the property name, tell me? The plural of person is people, yeah, not persons. The plural of person is people. So you'll find a property called people. How intelligently it is it? Not only just going to just write off the code, it will follow grammar also. That much beautifully they designed it. Are you getting me? Okay. So like this, it will write all the things. And what I explained you now repeats for every table. What to do if link to classes is not available? As you're sleeping in the classroom here, I clearly shown you if link to SQL is not available, go and install. And how to install I shown you. And now you suddenly come in the middle and ask, sir, what to do, sir? Follow the classroom here. Be in the class. Shown you now. Oh, how to install, I clearly explained that. Again, you should repeat from the first. I won't do. Okay. So, that's what I said. You put your concentration. This is very, very important. Once you miss, you're done. That's all. Why I explained you this much, everything step by step, taking this much time? Because I think if you don't understand one point also, you can't work now. And see, writing the code is easy. Explaining writing the code is easy. Then explaining the code written by someone. Did you get my point or not? If I write code, I'll tell you why I'm writing. If someone writes the code, that is only the hell now. Why did he write this? Are you getting me? I need to explain, I need to link everything and show you all the appropriate things. First, we have 4 default parameterized construct. Now we define default construct. You have that. Why it is default constructor? That is the constructor you use for creating instance now. Are you clear? So why define this property to you? That is the property, or that is what you require to use in your code for performing all the operations like inserting, updating, deleting, whatever you do, you're going to do on the students only. Are you people clearer or not? You're going to select on the students, you're going to insert on the students, you're going to update on the students, you're going to delete on the student. All your activities will be performed on that particular students only. And this is what we require. How many tables you drag and drop, that will happen. So now you see the third property one more time. Now to work with the table, we are provided with the property. Which type? Collection type. Under. And we use this property to perform all the operations on database table. Clear? And these 3 steps will repeat for how many times? For every table they will repeat. The first 2 steps I explained you is only one time. That is not for the first table, that is for the first object. The first object can be a table or the first object can be a store procedure. Today I drag and drop the table. Tomorrow I'll drag and drop a procedure. Then also those 2 activities will be done. But what I explained you now, the 3 things will happen for every table. And same way these steps will vary for a procedure again. When I explain you stored procedures, I'll tell you. I don't want to confuse you right now here. So first let us see how to work with tables. Once we are comfortable working with the tables, then we'll go with stored procedures. Guys, everything is ready. What is left out? Start, go and code. Go start coding now. Your classes are ready. Your properties are ready. You'll ask me, sir, what about instances? Instances will come in runtime. Array, instance will not come in compile time, na? Instance will come in runtime. Every instance is 1 record. You have 100 records in the table, 100 instances will come. You already know that. I explained you in the ATM system case study. Every instance represents 1 customer. Now here also, every instance represents 1 student. 100 instances, 100 students. Okay now? So going forward, we just require to do it, write the code. Guys, if you still have any confusions on the configuration part, I already said you. I even posted a video on this, but the video is on Windows. Here, web Windows till now, it did not matter. Na? Configuration part, watch the video. Link to SQL. The last videos, I remember it is 53 or 54. I don't remember exactly. From there, it starts. And how to add a OAuth designer, how to drag and drop the OAuth designer, what happens, all the things I demonstrated in the first video, introduction to link to SQL. Okay, if you have any doubts on it, watch it. But today only, practice it. Up to here only. Dragging and dropping the tables, watching all the code, what I said you, everything just to practice it. Tomorrow, I will show you the coding implementation. We'll just jump into the coding part and we'll see how to write the logic. Is it clear? Once you acquaint with the process once, remaining all tables, the same process repeats. Yeah, no need to learn again and again all these things now. One time you learn, rest of the tables, it will be the same process. Okay? Let's stop here, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.